Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm well aware it's been about 3 weeks since I last recorded a video, but I have been working on 3 actual videos for you, 2 of them being albums. But we're going to kick it off today with a 6-song roundup, which is episode 17, and we're going to start straight away with track 1, Devil's Reef, and their song Plague Uncovered, which is 4 minutes 21 seconds. This track is a solid technical death metal track with great guitars, solid drums, but I do think there is one vocalist in the band that is slightly stronger than the other, but that doesn't take away from how decent the track was. And if you haven't heard of this band, I do recommend giving them a try. This was one of the first few songs of theirs I've heard, and it definitely impressed me. Moving on, we have track number 2, which is Scumfuck and their new song The Judge off of their latest album Ruthless Aggression. This song is quite a short one, it's only 2 minutes and 55 seconds long. So, good old Dickie is, like I said, back with his side project Scumfuck. And this isn't a bad track, but it does feel very different from other Scumfuck tracks, other stuff Dickie's done and like featured on or produced himself, and it definitely is an Infant Annihilator. So if you're a fan of Infant Annihilator, and you're like, oh, let's go see what Dickie's side project's doing, beware, this is slightly different. It's kind of hardcore inspired, you know, a little bit of like death metal, deathcore, hardcore thrown in there with, you know, some of the goblin-y style vocals, but not as many as you would hope. I have listened to a little bit of the album that this is off of since writing this one, and when I wrote this I did say I might review the album, but listening to it so far, and I got like halfway through, I wasn't the biggest fan, but I might still review it anyway and like actually listen to it cover from cover, you know, delve into the lyrics and properly try it instead of just listening to it as I'm like walking around town or whatever. Moving on to track number 3. Right, apologies. It seems that every time I try to film one of these I get fucking interrupted by a phone call. Moving on to track number 3, we have First Fragment and their song De Chair et de Haine. Don't know if I pronounced that correctly. This one is 9 minutes and 4 seconds, and I've looked at some of the other songs off of this album, and holy fuck, the album closing track, I believe, was like 19 minutes long, 18 minutes long maybe. It was a fucking, you know, a hefty song. But this is a new band from Unique Leader Records. We've reviewed a couple other bands from this record label here on this channel. As you know, they're very known for their death metal bands, technical like bands that do crazy, mathy, weird shit, you know. So we start off this one with an acoustic guitar, but then the full instrumental comes in and it's technical as fuck, you know. The vocals are solid, but it is actually in another language, which you'd probably expect by the name. There's some amazing solos throughout this track. The musicianship is fucking nuts. It is really well done, really well put together. And I really enjoyed the track as a whole. You know, considering it was like 9 minutes, I was very skeptical if I would enjoy it. But with it being that long, and then being so technical and, you know, kind of experimentally, I guess, with like some of the sounds, it kind of worked very well at keeping the song feeling fresh throughout its whole run. But yeah, definitely worth a listen to. Moving on to track number 4, we have Ghost Kid, Ugly, 3 minutes 34 seconds. So, ex-Eskimo Callboy, Electric Callboy vocalist Sushi is back with his new band, Ghost Kid. So, let's see, after album number 1, what he has in store for us. And it's not a bad track. Some good cleans, some solid screams. It's nothing over the top, but it scratches that itch, if you know what I mean. It has a little bit of an old school Eskimo Callboy sound to the vocals, but obviously what with it just being Sushi and not being Sushi and Kevin, it doesn't have the same dynamic and back and forth, but it is a good song nonetheless. And, you know, going forward, I do hope Ghost Kid and Sushi produce more music, because he is a great musician, and he is a solid vocalist. So I do hope to see more coming out from them as the years go on. Moving on, we have track number 5, and Snakefather dropped? Don't know what that is. Snakefather dropped a new track with Heretics Fork, clocking in at 5 minutes 27. This just goes straight into it. The crushing vocals, the great drum work, and an impending sense of doom flows in this track, and it just kills it. They're genuinely quickly becoming one of my favourite newer finds. The vocals near the end as well of this track, like, holy fuck, it was gnarly, and they just held nothing back. It was it really went hard towards the end of this track, and it did leave my jaw on the floor, you know. And finally, to wrap up this 6-song roundup, we are visiting Crater Lake with their track Creations, 3 minutes 22. Straight into this, the instruments are fast and flowing well. The vocals are solid. They're semi-high with great control. The technique and pronunciation is there too, and even the lows are super solid when they're pulled out. I wouldn't say it was a phenomenal track, but it was definitely a good showing for the vocalist on this one. Like I said, the instruments were good, but they didn't, you know, they weren't over the top, but they weren't standing out like some bands that I've reviewed, where like you'll see me like on an album review being like, yo, the drums really stood out the most on this track, or shout out to the guitarist on this track because he fucking killed it, or whatever. Like, I didn't feel any of that, but like I said, the vocalist did do a bloody good job, and it was a decent track. But if I did have to recommend one out of this 6, Snakefather, Heretics Fork, I haven't stopped listening to it since I reviewed it, and Heretics Fork is just a badass name for the track, but Snakefather's music video for that song also is really fucking cool, and they definitely do deserve some love. So go check out Snakefather. Let me know what you think. I'm going to be wrapping this one up, but stay tuned to the channel, because we do have Ritual Hymns album review by Worm Shepherd coming out, and then something a little bit different. We're going to be doing the Warfront Windrose album review, which is a bit of a dwarven metal, power metal jaunt. Then we're probably going to do a couple more 6-song roundups. And then I'll do a few more albums. Unsure what they'll be. I have a fucking massive list of singles and albums and EPs to get through, so we'll see. But with that being said, this was the 6-song roundup, episode 17. I thank you for stopping by, checking it out. If you listen to any of the songs, let me know down in the comments what you thought. I'd love to hear your opinions on these tracks as well. And with that being said, all that's left to say is stay safe out there, my friends, and I will see you in the next video.